All right. Are we live?
Yes.
All right. Welcome everyone to another episode of DCL PrimeTime. Uh, we have our analyst Viju, our technical expert Satya, and our absent analyst who's going to join us, KK. He should be with us shortly. But again, we'll be going through all the great games that happened last weekend, talk about predictions for next weekend, and also touch upon playoff predictions. And as the race to playoffs is heating up, chances for teams to get in and who'd be coming in, who'd be missing out, or who have a chance and are on the edge, kind of. So we touch upon that as well. So without further ado, let's get on with the first game. Go ahead.
Before you started off on the games, last week you had brought this idea that a teammate of yours had suggested about this this fantasy draft or the player draft, DCL player draft. Now, do you know who was the guy who suggested it to you? We should give him the proper credit.
Yes, Kishore from my team had suggested.
Okay, so Kishore is not just good at video stuff; he's good at this kind of original ideas too. I thought it was a brilliant idea. So I was thinking about it over this weekend, and I wanted to run some things by you. Yeah, I think we're planning to have it on the Labor Day weekend, right? I mean that week obviously is ideal to do this, because by that time a couple more games would have been done and we would have a pretty good idea of who's going to make it. We may not know all 16 teams, but at least 14 teams we probably have a good idea. But here is what I was thinking. I was thinking that we should have a guy who conducts the auction, the auctioneer. And the guy I could think of was Sanjay Elongawan. I felt that, he's very interested in DCL stuff. He's got a pretty good knowledge, and he's able to communicate very well. And he's able to have a good presence, solid presence to conduct this thing. So I was thinking maybe we should invite him and ask him to be the auctioneer on the draft day, so that he can conduct the draft. The other thing which I thought was, obviously each of us are the commander-in-chief of our own respective teams, and we hold the final decision on whether we are going to bid. And so we probably should have a hammer or something like that to show that, hey, we are doing the bid, just kind of this thing. But I also think, just like in the IPL draft and also in the NBA draft, etc., every team has a table and they have their own set of trusted advisors around them. Obviously, we can't have a physical table with trusted advisors, but each of us probably should have two advisors to advise us, and they can advise us live as this draft is going on. Saying, for example, if I was advising you, Parthiv, go for it, bid for it, because this player we need on the draft. Now, obviously, everybody else is hearing on it, but that's okay. I mean, there's nothing, this thing, but they are basically, their main job is to advise you to go for it, not go for it, kind of a thing. So you have your own team, and when it's your turn to bid, those advisors come in and give you the advice, but ultimately it's your call whether you want to go ahead with the bid or not with the bid. And then I also thought that all the players which are involved probably should be split into three categories, wherein you have a category, a B category, and a C category. And obviously the starting price for the bid for each of these categories would be different, but each of us has to pick 12 players. Now, obviously, how much money you have and how much money you splurge will decide who you get and who you don't get. But to make things interesting, don't do all the 8 draft players right at the get-go. You can start with 2 or 3 players from the 8 draft, then go to 3 players from the B draft or from the B category, and then go to 3 players from the C category. And the other thing which I could think of was each category should have a minimum bid, as I already said, and probably the increments should be $500,000 decisions. but it also would make this thing. But these were some things which I thought which will make this thing a lot more interesting and more spicy kind of a thing. Tell me, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I love that. I love both the ideas of having the auctioneer. Obviously, that will make it a lot more fair and a lot more facilitated. Kind of make sure people stay on track and there are rules followed. I think that would be great. And Sanjay, I think is a great pick. And I also like the idea of having kind of trusted advisors. I think that will definitely add that spice to the show, as well as kind of have a group consensus. And just like IPL, you have your trusted advisor. So both these suggestions are awesome. I think that would definitely add a lot more thinking, especially offline. I'm envisioning this group kind of meeting offline, figuring out a little bit of strategy, looking at the category of players. So definitely a lot more homework can be done.
Yes, I mean, and that's why I said, if we know that a draft date is September 3rd or 4th or whatever it is, we obviously, we needed to get going right now so that we can start off on recruiting these people and making sure they are available, because it is Labor Day weekend and we do not know, who is available or who is not available. Again, given our show is on Wednesday, they should be available, but nevertheless, it's a good idea to check. And Satya can get started on, getting his player list ready and things like that, and also contacting these people and getting the buy-in. Do you have any players who you want on your advisory committee? I already have figured out who I want on the committee.
So you're not getting him?
No, that's fine. I gave you the option. If you pick one of the guys I wanted, then I'll go and find somebody else. That's okay. I'm being fair by giving him the chance. Now the other guy, he's busy playing out there. All right, so he doesn't get any of these privileges. He gets to pick whoever.
Yeah, I haven't yet. It hasn't crossed my mind. So I probably need a day to figure out like who would be my best bet and who's going to be available and going to be available. Obviously, Satish Gaba is going to be a hot property in this case. So, but yeah, I know there are a few more people like Satish Gaba. So I'll have to probably think over tonight. And I probably, nominate.
Well, I already have two players I have in mind. So
okay,
if I can have, I mean,
go ahead. If you already have,
I wanted Satish Gaba, and I wanted Chetan Dushyant. He's never been on the show, but I respect his knowledge of the game. So this would be a great opportunity, I felt. So I can get my two advisors. Yes. You go ahead and pick your two advisors, and we'll let KK go and pick his two advisors.
Yep. I would have picked. I think the first person that comes to my mind is Ravi Narla, but I know he's very shy at coming into the show. He's another guy who puts
let me tell you something. If you pick Ravi Narla, for sure you're losing this draft. For sure you're losing this draft, because Ravi Narala has so many ideas which it is unexplainable. So, but you're welcome to have Ravi Narala.
Yeah, the only thing is, I think if I can get him to participate and commit, I think that will be another challenge in itself. So yeah, but I'll have to think. I'll have to see through the list and see like who these people are who kind of have. If KK wasn't going to be our analyst, he would be a short pick, I think, from from the list of people. But yeah, he's going to be one of our analysts. So. But I'm pretty sure if you think hard, there are a lot of people like Gaba, KK, who have a lot of this analytic data. I mean, they synthesize the data a lot. So I want somebody like that.
Yeah. All right. So Satya, please contact Chetan Dushyant and Gaba. Gaba, of course, he's coming on the show today, so I'll ask him right there on the show itself.
Only one, right?
No, two. You're allowed two advisors. A commander-in-chief and two generals. That's the way it goes. So totally, you're going to have 9 people on the show, and then you'll be there as 10th technical expert, and then you'll have the auctioneer, Mr. Sanjay Alongawan.
Are we sending Gopu?
Another.
What is Avi sending?
Gopu.
Gopu. Yeah. I mean, one of these guys can go and get him. I already got his teammate. So.
Yeah. Another few names that's come to my mind is one is Samish, another one is Rashid. I think those two people. I know Rashid is. I don't know whether he is involved this season.
Yeah, he didn't play also. Okay. So.
Yeah, so I think that basically is a little out of touch. Otherwise, if it was last year, I would have got him.
All right, let's go ahead and start.
Something to think about.
We got things to work on, so I wanted to get that out of the way because otherwise I'll forget it later.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think that's a brilliant plan.
Put the name, everything in a ballot and pick the people.
Yeah, let's at least offline put all the rules, because I think we've said a lot of things, but I think if you want to, let's list it down so we'll make sure that we're all following the same rules. Cool. All right, let's start off with our analysis for last weekend's games. I think the first game is the FCC Agni United Raptors game. I think whatever chance that FCC Agni had, whatever remote chance that FCC Agni had to maybe threaten a playoff spot, are all over with this game. With the kind of loss this has been, I think it's not only just a loss, but a moral, a very heavy loss. United Raptors completely demolished FCC Agni. Ashok was outstanding. I think he just ran through the middle order. If you see the scorecard there, after the initial early good start, which was provided, they were at one stage 3 for 69 in the at 20 over mark, and you would have expected them to reach at least 90, 95 odd, but the late order completely collapsed at 4 for 69, and then getting out at 74 is just inexcusable. And I think Ramesh would be very, very disappointed with the kind of performance his team had. And on the batting side, Arminder continues to blow the bowling time after time. These teams, I think the challenge is going to be whether he can continue this kind of form going into the playoffs when teams with better bowling units, when you have 5 good bowlers, whether he can continue this bashing into the playoffs. So all in all, again, Raptors a very thorough performance with both bat and ball, and they continue their march towards playoff and a higher ranking in the playoffs.
Yeah, Parthav, I thought Amarendra Nuwala 55 in 28 with 8 sixes. I mean, this guy is hitting sixes like I'm eating peanuts. So I do not know what really happened. And again, I've been wondering, this sudden cataclysmic change which has happened in his batting, wherein 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he was not so outstanding compared to what he is right now. And right now, he's performing at a level very few people have seen in this league. But having said that, I thought this game's player of the game was Ashok Bhavanam for sure. I think he made a very worthwhile case for being game changer of the week. You picked 6 wickets. There was 1 run out. Otherwise, he probably might have picked the 7th wicket and tied the DCL record, which is held by Deepak Giriyappa for taking 7 wickets in a game. But having said that, 4.5 overs, 1 maiden, 16 runs and 6 wickets. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. It is absolutely outstanding. I mean, he had a phenomenal game, rightly judged the man of the match in this particular game. Everybody else also was bowling, but he seemed to be bowling something which was totally foreign to FCC Agni. With regards to Agni, I don't know. It's tough to say too many things positive because they have been blown away completely. When the opposition scored 74 in 8.3 overs, I mean, it's not even a game. And yes, Jashwant had a good game, 23 in 23 balls, and but you probably needed at least 4 or 5 guys performing at that level, and even then I do not know if it would have been enough to stop United Raptors. Having said that, Remember, Parthiv, last week I did say that, what was that? I felt that when the season ends, that the NRR of Raptors is going to be higher than GLCC. And I'm pretty sure if you went and take a look, Satya, at the standings, I am pretty sure that has flipped. Last week, GLCC had the higher net run rate, but now you can see that Raptors have gone to 2.2 and GLCC has fallen to 1.97. Now, GLCC has only one game remaining. Raptors have 2 games remaining. I think the key game is Raptors versus Sterling Strikers. That's where our friend, who's this, Vamsi, is projecting that Raptors will win, but Raptors will win without a bonus. And that is why he has them at number 4. But clearly, you and I do not know where you stand on this, but I think Raptors will win both the games with bonus. But I think you also felt like...
I think they'll probably lose the bonus point, in my opinion, against Sterling Strikers. So yes, I think I'm with Wamsi on that. They'll win, but I think they'll probably drop the bonus point.
And I just happened to see Gaba's prediction, and Gaba has them at number 2. So obviously, Gaba feels that they're going to win both games with full 5 points per game. So clearly, there is a difference of opinion. I think we just have to wait and watch the Raptors versus Sterling Strikers game and then see how that pans out as to who gets the bonus, who gets the win. So we'll see. But other than that, nothing much more to say on this game.
I think the next game of the weekend was a pretty one-sided one. I think that's Procrease versus Dark Horses. Unfortunately, Dark Horses lost the toss again, and they were made to pay for that. I think Procrease, all the batsmen had a very good time, although not big scores from each one of them. I think Arun's inning of 54 stands out, but all of them had a pretty decent outing out there. I think they flipped the batting order a little bit. You see Saran and Vignesh down the order, and giving people like Prabhu and Ranjit and Amit a chance to kind of express themselves at the top, getting some batting practice. I think this was kind of a practice game for Procrease. They had the game well in control. And I think one of the things that I want to call out is, you see, until last year, at least Pankaj was standing out for Dark Horses. If you look at the games which Dark Horses played last year, even though they lost all the games, Pankaj did play a lot of like lone hands with both bat and ball. But in this season, I think his performance also hasn't been up to his own personal standards. And I think that's what we were kind of afraid about. When you are with a team which is losing games, your personal form as well as your personal motivation starts to get impacted. And I think that's what's happening with Pankaj, where this season has been something that he'll probably write off.
Yeah, Parthav, look at these stats. Vignesh Venkateshan, 3 overs, 2 maidens, 2 runs, 2 wickets. Saran, 1 over, 1 maiden, 2 wickets. I mean, just last week we were trying to compare their bowling stats, and you would have looked at Vignesh's stats and said, "Oh well, that can't be beaten," only to see that Saran has come and said, "You know what? Let me show you how to beat that stat." And so again, I think Rahul Bandari and Pankaj Watts were performing last year. Well, this year I haven't seen any performance from Bandari. I think from Pankaj I saw maybe 1 or 2 performances, but clearly they are the only team, correct me if I'm not mistaken, the only team not to win a single game, because even Dairya won last week by beating Badshahs, right?
That's correct.
So that leaves only Dark Horses as the only team. I mean, I don't know. Dairya beat somebody who I was trying to figure out who did they beat Safaris? Yeah, I think
yes, they beat Safaris. Yes,
which was a totally unexpected result. So the thing is that even Dairya has a win and everybody else has a win, and Dark Horses are the only team which is winless. And now when you add the winless streak of last season, and I do not know the stats the season before that, it becomes difficult to talk about the game. I mean, Arun Pinakaran had a fantastic game, And sure, the Procrease flipped the bowling batting order around. I'm sure if Saran had opened and Vignesh had opened, probably Procrease would have been at 225, 240.
Yeah.
I do not know. But yeah, I mean, congrats to Procrease and Dark Horses. I think they need to do some very honest introspection this off season.
I agree. I think that introspection has been long due. So hopefully this season they're able to get together and figure out what they want to do going forward. Because I think continuing in this manner is going to just impact, even the good players are going to start to feel that lack of motivation. All right, our next game is the Group B game between GLCC and Stingers. I think Stingers have been, as we are following their run up to the playoffs, they've been off and on. They had a very good chance, when we started the season, and even in the middle, they've been getting those games where they've upset some big names, but then they have lost also to to teams which they should have won. This is a game which I'm pretty sure Stingers were underdogs to start off with, and GLCC were heavy favorites. And GLCC made sure, without a lot of fuss. I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have wanted more runs, but I think a score of 114 is going to be tough to chase against the GLCC bowling unit for Stingers, and that's exactly how it happened. Again, a very, very stellar performance of batting by Akash. I think he's been the standout performer for GLCC time and again. He's either with the bat or with the ball. He's always been their linchpin, and he's obviously is equally supported by Ajit and Samish. Samish has been great with the ball. Hasn't really got a chance to show his batting prowess, but he's always been amongst the wickets in the wicket column. So I think a lot of still I see GLCC having a lot of new players. Especially the likes of Viral and Nikunj. I think those two guys have been new additions midway through the season. I think they've been doing well. Viral with the ball and Nikunj with the bat. So I think it will be interesting to see how their makeup of the playoff shakes up when they have the likes of the big hitters like I forget his name. Is it Kaleem? Or I forget, but yeah, when those guys come back.
Yeah, Parthav, again, I thought complete domination by GLCC. I think Akash Patel is having a fabulous season. He has been performing game in and game out with the bat, with the ball. He seems to be doing everything. Captaincy has certainly not affected Akash Patel. Hemant Cheluvia had dream figures, 4.3 overs, no maiden, 10 runs, 5 wickets. Those kind of stats are unbelievable stats. I mean, having said that, I think you have to give credit to that Sujay Yerwa from Stingers, because he had 5 overs, 9 runs and 3 wickets. So he was that lone bright spot, which seemed to be making a game of it, but all the others went for runs. So, I mean, again, maybe not extraordinary runs compared to Sujay. Everybody else had figures which were not the same level kind of a thing. But again, we knew this going in that Stingers were no match for GLCC. I mean, it was David versus Goliath, and most often it is Goliaths who win. And yes, Davids do win once in a while, but in this case, Goliath made sure that David, whatever challenge they had, was snuffed out even before it began.
Cool. Our next game is the Knights versus Thunders. Another one which was easy to predict. Thunders are going to be heavy favorites against anyone they play. Albeit, Knights haven't been this season hasn't been exactly what they would have liked. They've been towards always at the bottom of the table. I think they've just got 1 win out of the 8 games that they have played. So something that they would want to change in the next 3 games. But in this game, I think Knights opted to bat first, and apart from Bipin, there wasn't anyone who even tried to stay out there. Everybody had lone single figures, and it was a pretty easy on the platter win for Indus Thunders. And Indus Thunders again here experimenting, knowing that a lightweight team, experimenting with a few things, getting the likes of Azim, Rao Ghanta. They played their second game of the season, and to your heart's content, Azim bowled and picked up a wicket as well. So he last week we were talking about him not bowling. I'm pretty sure Sandeep and or Shrikant must have heard us. They got him to bowl, and if you see his bowling figures, 2 overs, 1 million, 2 runs and 1 wicket. I'm sure he must be a very happy man, along with the others. You got Chilanti also coming in. He had an outstanding bowling figures as well. All in all, I think a pretty comprehensive win, even though they lost 5 wickets in chasing 50 runs. Credit to how Pratik bowled. I think he was the lone bowler who kind of troubled a little bit of the Thunder's batting unit, but all in all, it was always going to be an easy 50 run chase for Thunders.
Yeah, Parthav, I think Azim heard you. All right, you said Azim is not a bowler anymore, because I asked how come Azim didn't bowl, and you said, well, I think he's become old and I don't think he's able to bowl to this thing. I think Azim heard it and he wanted to prove a point, because Parthav, now if he turns around and tells you, Parthav, show me where you have bowled 2 overs, 1 maiden, 2 runs, 1 wicket this season, I can assure you, Parthav, you have no such stats to back you up this season. Now, you have stats a long time back where 5 overs, 6 runs and things like that, but you are a lot younger than what you are right now. But if our friend Azim now said, look at this, and again, I told you last week, his ball keeps low and it's not the easiest bowler to hit around and things like that. And in this game, Parthiv, he scored 5 runs and he was undefeated. I have only one problem with the Indus Thunders. The only problem I have with Indus Thunders in this game is, man, I can understand that Shiv Pujay took 3 wickets and you made him the man of the match, but give the old guy, Azim, a chance. He scored 5 runs and he bowled 2 overs, 1 maiden. He took 1 wicket for 2, and he only gave 2 runs in his 2 overs. He doesn't get so many chances. So here was an opportunity. Yeah, maybe in terms of points, Shiv Pujay is a few points ahead. But if I were sitting and deciding who is the man of the match for this game, I would let discretion step in, and I would say, you know what, I'm going to give it to Azim, because I don't know when is the next time I can give it to Azim. You see, but I think Azim had a good game, and I'm quite happy. So let's move on.
Yep. I think the next game of the weekend was the Detroit Titans versus Thunderbolts. And Detroit Titans, ever since the first few games where we got them on the bashing block, we talked about how their batting wasn't working and things were not in the right place. Gaba needs to go back and chalk out the batting unit a little bit differently, and I think that's what he's done. We see a different thinking definitely going in the coming to the playoffs. I think his experiment with Anil and Amrit Yadav at the top wasn't working. I think in this game he's trying out Deeptikant. I think that's something which he's trying to see if Anil can come down the order and maybe up the momentum in the second half of the innings when you have the second ball or the second power play. That's something I'm seeing happening, and that's something I want to ask Gaba when he comes here. But great to see Vihar amongst the runs. Abhishek in the last game as well had a fabulous time with the bat, where he bashed 40 odd runs in really quick time. And another game where he got the opportunity, and he generally plays really quickly, so his strike rate is always in the high 80s, 90s, 100s. Detroit Titans, I think, put enough runs on the board, 104 against a Thunderbolts unit. I think Thunderbolts, again, just like last year, I think they've always started well, but I think come midway through the season and towards the end of the season, they kind of lose that momentum. In this case, I think they started well with that first win, but after that, they've lost all their games. A couple of games they came close, but I think this is another season where where Vinod, I think, needs to again look at the current core players. I think one of the things that has impacted their performance is the performance of Deepak Bhaskar, and I think that his performance, I think, last year was a standout for Thunderbolts, but this year hasn't been up to and kind of raised the standard as you would expect when a player gets known. So it hasn't been his season this year, and so has the Thunderbolts.
Parthav, I noticed that you did not mention Vihar Vaidya. I thought Vihar Vaidya was for sure the man of the match. Oh, you did? Okay, well then I didn't pay attention there because 32, he came at the two dot spot. I felt this is the right spot for Vihar. Gaba didn't do that when Titans played Glads, all right? He came pretty much like 8 or 9. And the reason which was given was that, I don't know, he was injured or something. He was not ready to go up the order or whatever it is. But I think the team performs best when Bihar comes at either the 1-drop spot or 2-drop spot, usually the 2-drop spot. And if you look at it, he came in when the score read, I think, 19 for 2. And then he took it all the way from 19 to 2 for 104 for 9. Undefeated, stayed there. And not only that, in this case, he put on a masterclass. If you ask me, he 5 overs, 1 maiden, 9 runs, 5 wickets. He made a big case for game changer of the week. But again, we have been giving the game changer of the week to the guy who somehow makes his team win from an impossible situation or did something which really changed the outcome of the game. Sure, both Bhavanam and Gaba have very strong credentials to be the game changer of the week if you are talking in terms of points. But their teams would have won even without those two guys playing that particular game. I mean, in the sense that their teams are so far superior that it wouldn't have made. Whereas when you look at the game changer of the week this week, you'll find that that guy had to play well. Otherwise, without that, that performance was not going to happen. With regards to Thunderbolts, Partha, what I felt is they have 2 bowlers who are performing very well, both Deepak Bhaskaran and Devnath. I mentioned both of them last week too. This week again, if you look at their stats, between their 10 overs, they have given only 30 runs. So it is the remaining 3 bowlers, 4 bowlers, and I'll give credit to Thunderbolts in the sense that unlike other teams which use 8, 9, 10 bowlers, these guys usually use only 5 bowlers or at the max 6 bowlers. So they're pretty disciplined about it, but it's the other 3 bowlers who have to raise their level because I do not know. When these guys played Glads, I told you that this team has a problem on the batting end in the sense that their ceiling seems to be about 75 to 90 runs. They find it very difficult. Most of the games they score somewhere below 90 or below 70. And here again, they scored 64. That's not going to win you too many games. And you probably have to be at least out of 11 games, probably at least 5 to 6 games, you should score above 90, I would think. Right. After all, not every opponent is that tough. But again, I think that's the problem for them. But again, great game by Vihar Vaidya. I think last week when our predictions showed Titans at the number 16 spot, our friend Satish Gaba did not sleep for the entire week. Let me tell you that. He did contact you to figure out how this number 16 was going to be decided. But the thing is that, I am very sure he said, no matter what happens, I'm moving out of the number 16 spot. I'm going to do everything within my power. And he started by winning this game. And so that's a good outing. Anyway, last week itself, I said, I do not think that there is no way Titans will be at the number 16 spot. There'll be a few spots ahead of it. Definitely not ahead of 10, but somewhere between 10 and 14 is what I'm guessing.
Great. Yeah, it's I forgot to call out Vihar's bowling. I think that is a much underrated bowler. I think he bowls really well, especially the DCL circuit and the leather ball circuit. He's a regular bowler, but I think his batting kind of overshadows his bowling performance. But in this case, in this game, I think it was both with bat and ball. And another thing which I've noticed, which is another question which Gapas is going to hear from me, is I think Vihar generally steps up in the top order when they bat first, but when they're chasing a stiff target, I think there is a tendency for the captain to kind of bring it down the order, which I don't agree with. So, but I would like to hear Satish's thinking around those around those batting order changes. All right, let's go to the next game. Next game was the KRCC versus Patriots. I think this was a game that Patriots would have loved to bat first, because I think if there was any chance that Patriots would have given the KRCC juggernaut a scare, was if they had some runs on the board and then put pressure on KRCC by picking up some quick wickets. But KRCC, I think their batting juggernaut continues. I think time and time again, somebody steps up. If it's not just Nate, if it's not Tamim, it's Maulik. In this case, it was Zaban and Hemant. And just look at Hemant's innings. 79 of 34 with 8 sixes is just unbelievable bashing. And I'm sure after the 25 overs, the shoulders of the Patriot unit would have dropped considerably. I think only silver lining in the Patriots bowling was obviously Mukul. I think he was outstanding. I'm sorry, that was KRCC bowling. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong scorecard. But I think the only the silver lining on the Patriots was they were at least able to score 100 runs, which I thought is a very, very good performance against the bowling attack which KRCC has when you have Mufasir and Tamim. Although I don't think they were needed, but as you can see in the scorecard, Mufasir and Tamim both bowled 1 over, but that 1 over of Tamim was enough. He picked up 2 wickets even in the 1 over that he bowled. But all in all, I think KRCC stamped their authority, and I think they might be just peaking at the right moment.
Yeah, Parthiv, I thought Hemant Bharadwaj played like Chris Gale. I mean, it was a gale of an innings. It was bashing at its best. I mean, I watched quite a bit of it live, and it was a hitting masterclass. That's what I thought. Now, I felt he would have hit a century if he had gone and opened the batting, but he came so low down and still managed to get 79 runs on the board. Now, having said that, Tamim only came 1 down, and it says he scored 35, but believe it or not, I saw the game live, and when I was watching it, Sai Kiran Tota dropped Tamim only when he was on 0. And at that time, I remember texting a couple of guys, and one of them was Maulik, saying, I wonder how much that is going to cost Patriots. And because, you don't drop good batsmen, especially when they are on 0. And that too, this was not that difficult of a catch. It was pretty straightforward. And, I didn't think it was, at least for a person of Tota stature, he should have taken that regulation catch, is what I felt. But again, 8 bowlers were tried, Parthiv, and I saw that you were looking through the stats and trying to find some silver lining to point out and say that, some of these guys bowled well, but the opening bowlers were the only guys, they bowled 2 overs each. But I'm not sure why they didn't go back and bowl. At least Balaji should have bowled more. But again, unless there was an injury or something like that, I'm not sure, again, the logic of using 8 bowlers. But that's the way it goes. And it's 195. And when you have 195 on the board, you don't need Mufasir, you don't need Oni, you don't need you should be willing to try to bowl left arm, But I do think that Sai Tota and Sainath had good games with the bat, which allowed them to get to 97. But Having said that, you can't upset a top team if you give up 195. No way.
Yeah, I think the next two games, KRCC have a chance to probably do more bashing because they play Rising Stars and then local boys. So, the highest score or the highest score of the season for team total might be in danger, because if they bat first against Rising Stars or local boys, I think it's going to be another big score for them. All right. Next game of the week was the upset, which I'm pretty sure Legends would have not predicted at the start of the season, or nor did any of our analysts, even though Legends haven't been there yet. But something that Vijay will be very proud of, and definitely shakes up Group C with this loss. I think Legends, if they lose from here, the playoff spot, they only have only themselves to blame. I think 93 was probably a score which I think Legends would have taken at the end of the first inning. They would have been okay with that chasing, but without the likes of Harish, I think
I think our friend Parthiv dropped. Since he dropped, I'll just continue on it. Satya, I thought that Dynamites won this with bonus, and they won the bonus by 1 run, if you ask me. But for me, the guy who really outperformed was Suresh Babu Balakrishnan. He took out the top 4 wickets. He took out Arjun Alipur, Gautam Radhakrishnan, Sai Pratap Sakineni, and Guru Naga. When you can take those 4 batsmen, that's like premium batsmen. So I personally thought that it was an outstanding haul of wickets. And I personally, Satya, I was very confused as to who to give the game changer of the week. I felt that Suresh Babu Balakrishnan made a very strong case to be the game changer of the week. I personally wanted to give him the game changer of the week because he has played in the league for several years. But in the end, that we decided to give the game changer of the week to somebody else, but not for lack of trying, because I think Suresh certainly had an outstanding game. And on top of that, what really impressed me about Suresh is that I see that Vijay Shanmugam did not play this game, which tells me that Suresh Babu Balakrishnan was probably the captain in this game. And I
Viju, you got stuck too. Okay, I don't know what happened to both of them, so I'm going to continue with the same thing. I hope both of them joining back. I don't know. Okay. So yeah, the Dynamites really played well and they won the game, but it's about the Legends who is trying to make it to the playoffs. With this loss, Legends staying at around almost like 9th position with 3 more games to go. 4 more games to go. Vijay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything which I said?
I heard only after Suresh, it was stuck. So.
Okay, well, what I was trying to get at that was that Suresh made a very strong case for being the game changer of the week. And I thought it was a masterclass in captaincy by Suresh, because Vijay Shanmugam did not play. So that tells me that Suresh was probably the captain. And when you win the bonus by just 1 run, you have to give credit to the captain. Now, I still feel that Dynamites can make the playoffs. Now, you might say that that's ridiculous, but that is the truth if they can win the 2 remaining games. But unfortunately for Dynamites, the next 2 games are against Miles and Glatz. So that is a huge mountain to climb. But having said that, coming into the season, I remember that when DCL did the partitioning of teams, the Dynamites was the #1 ranked team in Pool C. because they had reached the semifinals last year. So they were ranked the number one team, but obviously none of us felt that they were going to end the season at number one. We all knew that when the season got going, the regular season, you're going to see that many of the top teams are going to come out and perform. But if you had asked me if Dynamites or Legends, I think we all pick Legends, and there is a reason for that. But I felt Dynamites played an absolutely fantastic game, and I think the captaincy was a masterclass. And that is another reason why I wanted to give the game changer of the week to Suresh Babu Balakrishnan, because the 4 wickets he took were crucial wickets. He did not bat, but I felt those 4 wickets, if he hadn't taken, we might not be talking about a Dynamites win. Now, I noticed that Sai Gogineni was named as the man of the match in this game. I have no idea why that would be the case when Suresh Babu Balakrishnan, we're talking about game changer of the week. He was our number 2 choice for game changer of the week. So there is absolutely no way I can give Sai Gogineni. He only batted for 25 runs. Yeah, there are 25 very valuable runs, but I don't think you can give him the game changer of the man of the match award based on that 25 runs, because the other guy took the top 4 wickets on the opposition. And I do not know, do you guys mind if I give out a $25 gift certificate to Suresh Babu Balakrishnan? Because I have that much respect for what he has done over all these years, that I feel that, this week I don't mind putting money out of my pocket and say, hey, Suresh, you'd really deserve the game changer of the week. Do you guys have a problem, or is that allowed, not allowed? Let me know.
I don't think anything is not allowed. But
Zach Capital is one of the sponsors. You can do it. So
yeah.
All right. Then go ahead and Suresh, if you're listening, go ahead and contact Satya and claim that $25 gift certificate. I am happy to spend that $25. I would think that is the best money I spent this week. So I think it was. One other guy pipped you by the narrowest of margins. Within the 3 of us, we couldn't figure out who, or the 4 of us, we couldn't figure out. It was that close. So you really deserved it. So at least the least I can do is at least put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I was disconnected, but I think I just wanted to add on this game. I think just like last time, where the bowling unit basically of Dynamites restricted Procrease, I think the Legends is this game as well. I think they restricted Legends in a way with very disciplined bowling attack. So even though, we all think that Dynamites may still miss the playoffs, but I think Safaris, the loss of Safaris against the area has given them at least a silver lining. They might still be able to pull it off if they can win the next 2 games, which is obviously going to be a lot of effort against Glads and Miles. But they still have a chance mathematically. All right. Next game is the shocker. Shocker of the week, not because of the because of the game, because we expected Detroit Bashas to win, but the kind of win Motor City had. Like, I don't know whether it was Detroit Bashas who were just come there for or to a picnic, or they didn't basically think that too much of Motor Cities. The brothers, I think, probably took it too lightly and didn't really pay attention, or were just basically trying to have fun. But a score of 39, and that too playing 16 overs, is just outstanding. And I'm just thinking about, if there was anyone who saw this game, might have been so frustrated with the kind of cricket which is going on. When you compare the likes of other teams who've been scoring so heavily, you come across a game like this where the batting just doesn't show up on a one fine day. But credit to Motor City, I think they have pulled off this win. I think they pulled off another win last week as well. But it's a little too late. But I think there's definitely a lot to take back. I think Their captain Bhargav would be very happy with the 2 wins that he's got in the last 2 weekends, and if they can continue uh, along the way and take this momentum and this positiveness into the next season, definitely I think they might earn a few players from other teams who would be interested in playing as well. But even in the batting, if you see, Dinesh basically just ran away with the score. I mean, whatever little chance or little spark that might have been, that was completely diminished by him. He just 26 of 24 balls out of the 40. He just made sure that there was no fuss at the end of the day.
Partha, when I see this game, there is everything which is wrong about having these new teams play with established teams comes to the fore. If you look at it, August 15th is India's Independence Day. We just celebrated the 75th year of independence. August 14th, if I'm not mistaken, is Pakistan's Independence Day. And I think August 13th, because this game was played on August 13th, must have been Badshah's Independence Day, because they were having a biryani festival and they had only 10 players play this game. I don't know if you noticed this, but only 10 players played this game. They didn't even have 11 players to play this game. That is why you'll see that it is whatever it is for 9 wickets. You see, they had only 10 players play this game. And, when I saw that itself, I knew this game was probably going to be a gone case and probably beyond the reach of Badshahs. And then the next thing, the Umar Tahir, who had scored 64 or 65 runs in the previous game, opened the batting and remained undefeated. Well, in this game, you find that, he comes pretty much very close to the bottom, you see. So, in other words, hey, you performed very well. You remained undefeated. You carried your bat through the entire innings and batted all 25 overs. Here's your reward. You go pretty much close to the bottom, So I really do not know what the reasoning behind it is. But having said that, it's nothing too positive that I can say about what went on here. Motor City, I remember Vamsi saying a couple of weeks ago, or 2-3 weeks ago, that he had seen them practice and he felt that, Hawks are so much superior to Motor City, and he wanted to change his prediction and things like that, saying that, Motor City is the thing. But all I know is Motor City, they have won 2 games. They beat the same Hawks, which Vamsi was comparing. And then on top of that, now they have won this game, and that too 40 for no loss.
And last weekend, they almost had Thunders. If only they could have got one more wicket, they could have had the upset of the season.
Again, I think there the captaincy and lack of experience is probably what cost them, because give the same opportunity to an experienced skipper, and he probably would have attacked right up front when Jalaj and that other gentleman for Indus Thunders were batting, and probably taken them out and not allowed them to stay for that long. But again, the man with 2 first names, isn't Dinesh a first name and Ravi is also a first name? Dinesh Ravi, the man with 2 first names. Well, he is number 1 in Motor City, Parthiv, because if you ask me, he is the motor of Motor City, because there are so many, 2 or 3 games where I've seen where he's the lone performer. He stands and he carries the bat all the way to the end and makes them win the game. I think that's what happened in the Hawks game. I think 8 or 9 wickets fell, and he opened the innings, and he was the only guy who scored all the way. And he's having a fabulous season. So the man with 2 first names is number 1 in Motor City, the motor of Motor City, Dinesh Ravi. Let's give him the credit for that.
Man with 2 names. You're great at giving people nicknames. You never know. I mean, I know some people have their dad's name as their last name as well. So you never know. That might be the case.
Yeah, it probably is the case. I mean, I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I just observed that Dinesh is a first name. Ravi is also a first name. So very rarely you see Dinesh Ravi.
The next game is, I wish our fellow analyst Vamsi was here. We could have roasted him right here. I know he was very adamant that FCC is going to lose, and he was almost there. He almost got it right till the time Amit Gowda, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to.
You-
If I win,
Parthiv,
if I
even
win.
Friday night you are saying Satya is not too late. You can change still.
Parthiv,
Well,
he tried his level best to get me to change my prediction. Viju, you can change the prediction, blah, 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 blah. And I listened to all of that and I said, no, I'm sticking with FCC.
and we all have to thank Amit Gowda for his outstanding innings, his 28 runs, and I think even with the ball, I think he basically bowled that really miserly spell. The 5 overs, 2 maidens, 9. I think his bowling and batting both stand out for FCC. But I think the biggest shocker was that FCC towards the end of the game, when the Spartans were chasing, I think they probably didn't use their bowling. I would say in the right manner. I think they used up I think Sujan pretty early, and I think maybe there was definitely a case for
No,
picking up wickets.
Parthiv, they kept Sujan till the last. If you ask me, it was a masterclass from Nishan in terms of captaincy. You see
But-
this
but-
Venkat Satya, he bowled, that's Sujan, he bowled the 25th over. Defending
Oh,
4 runs.
Venkat
Sujan is the
Satya,
guy
okay.
who made sure that they gave only 3 runs. Trust me,
Okay.
Parthiv, I watched this game live and I was actually in awe and admiration for the way in which
His
Nishan.
name is Venkata.
Yes, that is Sujan.
Okay.
All right, trust me
Okay.
on that one because I saw him bold, right? So I know that. If Satya, can you go back to this thing? If I'm not mistaken, the 24th over also was bowled by Amit Gowda or Shashank. All right. So the thing is, Amit Gowda also they used it very well. And you look at that maiden over there. You see. So the thing is that if you ask me, every button which Nishant pressed worked out, except probably the 22nd over where 12 runs went. But again, those were great shots by the Spartans batsmen. If you ask me, Parthiv, let me ask you a question. I feel, again, you didn't watch this game live. I watched this game live. There was an incident which took place, and I want to run that past you, all right, to see how you would have reacted as a striker captain, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You are having who's this? Shashank Gowda was batting, all right, and the bowler bowled, and it hit the. It was given out LBW, all right. As soon as the appeal went up, the finger went up. There was not even a question of thinking about it or anything, but it was clearly off the bat and then the pad. But everybody else knew it except for the umpire. But what happened is immediately the leg umpire, again, remember, if we are going to go strictly by the rule book, the leg umpire is supposed to keep his mouth shut, all right? But in this particular case, the leg umpire straight away said, hey, it is off the bat. And he went and approached the main umpire. And but by this time, the decision has already been given that it is out, all right? And at that point, I see Chanakya Lokam steps up and says, guys, both are neutral umpires. Let them talk it out and things like that. But it was very clear that everybody else knew that it was off the bat and the pad. The batsmen knew it, the fielders knew it, except for the main umpire. So anyway, long story short, the leg umpire says that it is off the bat. But at this point, the only person who can call him back is Chanakya Lokam. Now remember, after that, this was a 1-run game, Parthiv. And if Chanakya Lokam doesn't call back Shashank Gowda is out when he is, I don't know, in single digits. Obviously, that changed the outcome of the game, all right? And I have to give credit to the sportiveness of Chanakya Lokam. And even more, what I admire is the rest of the guys that not one of them said one word once the skipper had said that. I cannot see the same thing happening on Glads where Satya calls and says, and you would have 10 different opinions. And then, 5 of them would have chewed Satya out. Forget Satya, even if I was the skipper there, I can see a couple of them coming to chew me out. You get my point? Saying that, hey, what is this? And, why are you saying? Partha, how would you handle the situation?
Yeah, I think I would have done the same because it has happened a couple of times. I remember it was last season or what was it, this season where I basically threw the ball to the run out. I think it was Stingers game. Yes, Stingers game where I threw the ball to the bowler, and I clearly saw that he dropped the ball and broke the wickets, and I knew it myself that it was not out, even though the umpire gave it out, and I recalled the batsman. But you're right. I think there is two opinions always in the team. There were a few people who were like, "Hey, why do you have to be so honest? We get sometimes the short end of the stick, and that time, we don't get a second chance. The umpires are there to make a decision, and you should leave it up to the umpire." So there's always these two opinions in the team where you get to hear, leave it to the umpires, and then there's, hey, let's do the right thing when we know for sure, and when you know for sure that it's not out. A lot of times you are a 50-50. At that time, you really can't call. But if you know for sure, I think the right thing to do is, what Chanakya Lokam did is basically call the batsman back.
All right. So anyway,
yes.
I want to give credit to Chanakya.
But I think one more thing to add. It's a different proposition when when this game situation and the impact of the game is going to be bigger. I think come playoffs and such a situation happens, things might be, you might or I might react differently because it does take.
See, that's my concern, Parthav. My point is it's easier to do that when the game doesn't mean that much and you know that you are controlling the game. Where, like, for example, you had the situation when we played Miles where they retired Karthik Jayakumar and then he still came back and batted and Glad's allowed that. And remember, I told you that if I was the Glad skipper, I would not have allowed that. I would have said, you're retired out. You get my point? And that's the end of the discussion. So now the thing is, in this particular case, this was a critical game because Spartans needed to win this game for them to get into the playoffs. And they knew this very well because I also listened to the halftime speech which was given. And I remember the halftime speech was given very clearly where the speech very clearly said, guys, you guys are all adults. You know what is at stake. You know what needs to be done. Now go out and do what needs to be done. It was a very simple speech. The only problem I have with that speech, Parthav, is, well, you are talking about 11 guys and 11 guys might have 11 different ideas of what needs to be done. So sometimes maybe making things a little more crystal clear that this is the pattern in which we want to go probably is how I would do it. I can also respect what was said that, hey, you guys are adults and you guys go out and perform kind of a thing and you do what you have to do. Because I'll tell you why, Parthu, I say this. Because this game pretty much was controlled by Spartans. They had this game in their hand. Especially if you can go back to that scorecard, Satya, when Chanakya Lokam was batting in the middle, along with Mohan Krishna Kotapalli, they had the game completely in hand. Now go back to that scorecard is where I want to look at. There was this time in the middle where you can see that Chanakya Lokam has scored 29 of 29 balls and Mohan Krishna Kotapalli 23. When those two guys were in the middle, I said this game is over, and Vamsi is right, and Vamsi is going to win this prediction. But Mohan Krishna Kotapalli went for the big shot and got caught, and I can live with that, all right, because you have still Chanakya Lokam at the other end. So the thing is that, and you still have batting to come. So the thing is that, you went for the shot. You don't want both of them going for the shot. And you have the more senior batsman in Chanakya Lokam still there. But what I did not understand is Chanakya Lokam also got out the same way. There was now Mohan has got out. At this point, I blame Chanakya Lokam for this loss. As much as he has done so many good things, in this particular case, with the game so much in control, especially when you know what needs to happen and you are the skipper and you are batting so well, and the opposition can do absolutely nothing to get you to even remotely trouble you, why did you have to go for that big shot and get caught at the long off boundary? And that was the ball game, because the moment he got out, the two new batsmen who were come in, even though the asking rate was so low, they struggled, because who's that? Sivaram? He really struggled. He was the first three balls, he wasn't even able to touch it. I mean, playing and missing. And give credit to Nishant that he brought in Sujan at the last over, defending 4 runs. He gave only 3 runs, and it was a 1-run victory. And so that tells me, every single minute decision which went in, every one of them impacted the game. So I think Sujan was great when he had to be great, and I think there were a lot of good things, good sportsmanship, good ways in which sportive ways in which the Spartans conducted themselves, and they were very clear at the halftime. Parthiv, they said, if we can't win this game, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. At this point, they are looking at the playoffs from the outside in, is what I feel. I mean, they have made life very difficult for themselves.
I agree. I think this game has definitely made it very difficult for them. I think Hawks, Canton 11, and Spartans are locked up, with obviously Canton 11 having the benefit of 2 more games to go. But I think one thing I would add to this before we go to the next game is, when a team chasing loses with 4 wickets in hand, that somehow astounds me. It's like, why would you not go for it earlier rather than leaving it too late? Because I think a lot of times, you probably leave it too late you would rather want to finish it before like the 23rd or 24th over, and not leave it to the last game. So if you had to kind of push the accelerator, you would do that with wickets in hand, with 4 wickets still to go. You would have wanted to try to finish the game a little early and not leave it to the end. So I think somewhere there, I feel like maybe Spartans had lost that trick. All right. Next game is the upset of the week, which has shaken up as we had talked about Group C. I think this is a game which I don't think anyone, and even I'm pretty sure Dhairya would have expected to win even halfway into the game. At the halfway to the game when they were 60, with a score of 60 for all out, I don't think they basically must have given themselves a chance of saying, okay, we can beat Safaris, simply because I think Safaris, have a better record. They had all the players available, and they were definitely a team that was on the high, looking into the playoffs. But this defeat definitely puts a lot of questions in the Group C for Safaris. And again, just like Spartans, I think now they're looking outside in instead of the inside out, which they were heavy favorites before. But I think a great innings by Rajeshwar, even though the score of 60 doesn't really talk a lot, but when you score half the runs of your team, it definitely speaks volumes, and it definitely talks about how poorly others have batted. So even if one person from the entire area 11 would have stood there with him throughout the 25 overs, I think they would have at least got 70 to 80 runs. But all single digit scores, except for that innings from Rajeshwar, didn't really help the cause. But again, outstanding bowling effort. I don't know how they basically found that player Satyajit, who's our game changer of the week. Those 4 wickets which he got, I think, were just unbelievable. They got Safaris on the back foot. If you see the first out of the first 4 wickets, he got 3 out of the 4, which rocked Safaris, and obviously getting the prize wicket of our golden boy, Swarna Rahul, for a duck. That was the icing on the cake. So great win for Dhairya. I think, like I said before in our chat, this win would definitely give them the spark, and hopefully they can build around this and come back next season with a much better unit to show these and compete well in DCL. On the other hand, Safaris, will be looking back. I'm pretty sure they must be having a lot of discussions around why and how did this happen.
Yeah, Parthiv, I don't think anybody saw this coming in a million years. I mean, Safaris were the clear favorites, but losing this game has just opened the floodgate. The good thing for Safaris is Legends also lost.
Yep.
And Legends also will be happy that Safaris also lost. That, remember last week itself, I told you Legends versus Safaris is going to be the crucial game in Pool C. And that is yet to happen, Parthiv. And so when Legends play Safaris, I think the winner takes it all. So that's going to be a great game to watch. I'm looking forward to watching that game or witnessing that game, or at least following it on the scorecard. But I think Safaris have made their own task difficult, by losing to Dairia. So this was not, and that too, they lost by 2 runs. And I wanted to give credit to Satyajit Das because he took out 4 premium wickets. And on top of that, I believe he bowled the last over. And Satya, can you just verify if I'm right on that one? I thought he bowled the last over, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, he bowled the last over and he just gave 1 run. You see, from 57 to 58, 1 run, and he took the wicket, the all-important wicket, which got Dairia the win. So for sure, he's the game changer of the week because he's the one man who made it happen, which was something which none of us saw coming. But having said that, I think this is maybe second or third game where I'm seeing Swarna Rahul Mrithini getting out LBW. If I had to give an advice for Swarna Rahul Mrithini, it would be this. Especially in the regular season, you have umpires who are coming. Some of these umpires go on the strength of an appeal, not on the merit of the LBW. So I do not know if he was out LBW every single time. But when you see that high a number of LBWs for a premium batsman, the only thing I could suggest to him is, hey, at least in the regular season, you probably want to take 1 stump outside the leg stump guard and say that, hey, you know what, I'm going to take this decision out of the umpire's hand. If I get bowled, I get bowled. But, at least I'm not being given out LBW. But it's something which he might want to think about, especially considering the fact that they are coming into a crucial game in the next few weeks, especially against Legends. And that's probably going to be a do or die game. But at this point, Safaris is not a shoe-in. Legends is not a shoe-in. Titans helped their case by winning this week. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and in the end, I think that game may not even be vital, because I think currently, if you look at it, it looks like both Legends and Safaris could miss out. If MCC Miles and Detroit Titans have their way, they continue the good form, I think Safaris and Legends might miss out. All right. Next game of the week is going to be at Detroit Bulls and SLCC Guardians. Another game where it was so tight to call. I know we all predicted Detroit Bulls, but I think SLCC Guardians gave them a really good scare. And I think this match is especially significant for me because I think we played SLCC Guardians next. Detroit Bulls are obviously outside in looking for that 3rd and 4th spot. So this game here was something which I was keenly following to see, if SLCC Guardians can pull one off Detroit Bulls, but ultimately, Detroit Bulls were able to win, very narrowly. But I think it was something where I think Detroit Bulls, as we have talked about, have suddenly lost that momentum which they had, their fire which they had. I think Mahesh Babu was carrying that flag and has been doing that time and time again with both bat and ball. But somehow I think Detroit Bulls have, in the last few games, have either put their foot off the accelerator or have made some changes in the batting and the bowling, which hasn't been working. I know they're missing Gino, and we know that Mahesh is also on his way out of Michigan. So that is definitely going to be impacting them in the next few games. So Detroit Bulls have their task really cut out if they want to still make it to the playoffs. But I think the SLCC Legends, I was pretty impressed, even though they lost by the narrowest margin. I think they came very close to beating Bulls, especially their bowling. I think their bowling was outstanding, restricting Bulls for 80, 89. I think all the bowlers bowled really well, very disciplined bowling attack when you have 5 overs 13, 5 overs 14, 5 overs 24. All of them picked up those wickets, made sure that Bulls didn't get to a big score. But again, it's a matter of being almost there and not being able to pass it. The last wicket gave them so much hope. At 8 for 69, you would have thought it is a tall effort. But I think Ajay Sai and Ravi Teja, I think they almost got SLCC over the line, albeit it was a tad short. But a good game, I think, for a neutral spectator. But I think for Pool B, I think puts Bulls on its way to the playoffs. But we all know that missing players is going to impact them. But we'll see how that all shakes up.
Yeah, Parthiv, I thought that last week I said I was very bullish on the Bulls, but now that I have heard that Geno James has gone to India, and now that I have heard that Mahesh Babu, MBB, as we lovingly call him, has moved to Wisconsin, and he has already moved, is what I was told. So if that is the case, then the Bulls are in a lot of trouble, because how are you going to replace 5 overs, 1 maiden, 8 runs, 1 wicket? And that 1 wicket is oftentimes 3 wickets and 4 wickets. And many times he's going out there at 2 down or 3 down and carrying the bat all the way to the end. You see, so 8 is, you can look high and low, but that kind of a quality player, you can't find hiding under some cave or hiding under some barrel. So it's going to be very difficult for the Bulls. At this point, I have become very bearish on the Bears. Now, I remember you and I took a bet with our friend Parth, friend Vamsi, saying that, the dinner treat. I feel like a fool for taking that bet, because at this point, I think our friend Vamsi is dancing not only in the cricket field, but he's also dancing in the shower and he's dancing in the car. Now that this kind of news has come out that the Bulls have lost 2 of their quality players. So, yes, Bulls won this game, but I am not so very confident right now about their chances to make the playoffs, because where are they going to replace that kind of dedicated players with? I mean, that's the big question. I think at this point, Tanuj, who was on baby duty leave, will probably have to step in. But it's going to be very tough sledding for the next 2-3 games is what I feel. And I just hope that once again, it will not be a case where the Bulls just miss the playoffs, because that has been the case a few times already.
Yeah, but I think the only silver lining is they have their own destiny in their own hands. I think this weekend we'll know for sure. The Bulls play the Patriots, and if Bulls can win that game, I think they're through. So it's going to be.
Parthiv, you want to know the effect of losing MBB and Geno James? I filled the predictions 1 week ago, and when I went to check my predictions this week, I saw that I had predicted Bulls to win. All right, I had predicted Bulls to beat Patriots. But now that I know that Geno James is gone, and now that I have know that MBB is gone, guess what? I changed my prediction from Bulls to Patriots. That is the swing we are talking about, you see.
Yep. Talking about prediction, this was the one which, I took the gamble, took the risk, and it paid off. Group B game, I know SSK. I don't know why I took the gamble, but I think probably on the lines of, I know SSK has been faltering, and this is last week we talked about they lost against Patriots, and this was another game which again they'll probably blame themselves if looking into the season. They had a very good chance to make it to the fifth or fourth spot even in the playoffs, but another game where they just somehow found a way to lose the game. Hitman scored a paltry 66, which wasn't at any point of time. I don't think we expected SSK to not be able to chase it. SSK, I thought, bowled really well. All their bowlers were amongst the wickets, and they were very economical as well. Especially Kalyan, I think he had an outstanding spell. Even though he didn't get wickets, but 5 overs, 2 minutes, 4 for no wicket. I think he made sure that he bottled the top order of Hitman. In the Hitman scoring, I think Santosh was the only lone warrior, as we've seen in some of these low-scoring games. I think that's one of the reasons that you don't have apt support from the rest of the team or the rest of the batting unit. In this case, the same thing. All single digits, and then you have Santosh, which stands out with a score of 21 out of the 60. But it was more shocking on the SSK side, where they had a great start. I thought, even though they lost Vinod early, Krishna and Kalyan, I think, were able to stitch a good partnership. But then again, the same thing. They just lost wickets in a hurry. If you look at after 44, once Kalyan went out, there was just chaos. 4 for 44 or 3 for 44 at one stage, and the team gets out at 55. So it was really, something which and the other thing was, if you look at it, SSK was helped by extras being the highest scorer. So if you take out those 20 runs, which Hitman very graciously and very generously gave, SSK just scored 42 runs, and they were all out for 42. So even though Hitman, gave them a chance, gave them the ability to come back in the game by showering them with extras, SSK probably didn't pounce on it. So another situation where SSK again would be blaming themselves for things that could have gone so differently for them.
Yeah, Parthiv, I do not know if you realize our friend Philip Thomas bowled that last over where he took that crucial wicket, and I went and looked at the video. It was a peach of a delivery, and he took out the center stump, Parthiv. You can't get it better than that. Both the off stump and the leg stump were standing still, but the middle stump was gone. I mean, it was a peach of a delivery from Philip Thomas. I thought, again, Parthiv, it's one thing for a skipper like Lingapur to come and say that this year we want to make the playoffs and we are going to make sure that we control our own destiny and we'll not look at getting help from anybody else. Well, guess what? You had all that opportunity and you were sitting in the driver's seat. But if you look at the last 2-3 games, I mean, they have been absolute stinkers. I mean, I think when SSK looks back, they have no one to blame but their own batting unit, because time after time, their batting unit is just not clicking. Oftentimes, it's extras, which is, I think, it's almost like a broken record. I think last week, Vamsi or somebody was saying that, extras was the highest scorer. And once again, I'm hearing the same thing from you. Hey, extras was the highest scorer. And if you take out the 20 extras, they scored only 42 runs off the bat. Now, I'm not sure how many games you can win if you score 42 runs off the bat between 11 players. So I think SSK pretty much has written themselves or played themselves out of the playoffs. Probably mathematically, they are still alive and hope for a miracle. But I wouldn't say that they control their destiny as such. They'll probably need some help from other people and things like that. But all in all, it's not a very great way to get into the playoffs. If you want to go into the playoffs playing some good playoff type of cricket, and I don't think we are seeing that from SSK. Hitman, on the other hand, I thought it was, they had nothing to lose. They played. I mean, you knew that they are not going to the playoffs. But at least it was a great win for them. They scored 62 and still were able to defend it. Arun had a fantastic... And I remember you telling last year that Arun's bowling is very deceptive. I don't know if you recall that. I mean, he bowls and it looks like it's going one way, and then it comes a long way in and things like that. And he picked up 3 wickets. He batted well. So I know that he has not played every game this season for SSK, but he was their best player for, not SSK, for Hitman. He was their best player last year. And I do not know if Satya remembers this. Santosh Kumar Kadikuntla. He played for Glads. I don't know if Satya remembers that. Left-hander. He played for Glads. This was when I was skipper. When I was skipper, he played for Glads. And in fact, we sent him for umpiring a Warriors game.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. He batted well in this game. So that's why I wanted to throw that out.
All right. I think that's basically all our weekend games. And now we move on to predictions, where I am now in number 2 spot. Thanks to Worms. Oh yeah, before we go there.
Thanks to Hitman.
Yes, thanks to Hitman. All right, before we go there, we want to acknowledge our game changer of the week, Satyajit Das from Dhairya. And as we have always done, we want to make sure that you claim your $25 gift certificate. Call or text Satya, and make sure you collect it before Friday.
The same thing for Suresh Babu Balakrishnan. We'll be happy to send a $25 gift certificate. Same rules apply. He has to claim it before Friday midnight from Satya.
Before we go in, Gaba is online, so we add him for the prediction. Then we go after that.
Okay. But you moved out of the scoreboard really quickly. A prediction. I want to see.
Can you go back to the previous one? Yeah.
Oh, we're tied. I thought I was a 1 point lead.
And this is not correct, Satya. Let me tell you this. KK is not at 120. Parthiv is not at 117. You are not at 116, and I'm not at 117. It's actually KK's. All of us are 1 point behind because you selected Dhairya versus Safaris. You gave the win to Safaris, and you said that all of us got 1 point for that, which was not true. I went back. I went back and corrected it and put it 0 for all 4 of us, which means KK is 119, Parthiv is 116, you are 115, and I'm 116.
Everybody 1 point less.
1 point less because you put 1 point for Safaris, because all of us predicted Safaris. We should have got 0, but you put 1 point for all of us. So I went back to the Excel sheet and corrected it. Now, Parthiv, you can see how much attention to detail I give.
Last week KK corrected. Don't this week you correct. I'm out of mind, I think. So okay.
All right. So
now, Parthiv, now you can understand why I said last week Satya doesn't know the difference between Monday and Saturday. It was not made in jest.
Today is Wednesday, Viju.
So, anyways, yes. So at least we've caught up on a little bit on Vamsi, which is good news. So that's awesome. All right, so we are into predictions.
Gaba so Gaba will.
Hey Satish, you can show us yourself.
Yeah, you can show us your lovely face. Though I don't know what is. Yeah, there is a light which seems to be kind of above your head, but now your head can't be seen.
Yeah,
you're
probably
being cut off.
No,
so you see that light which is there, which is kind of.
Other side.
I will change the angle. Maybe you can continue.
Yeah, you'll have to change the angle.
Yep. All right, let's start.
Because while he does that, you can get started.
So before we start, KK did not do the prediction, but he has time till Saturday before the game. Sorry, it's Friday night. That's okay.
How does this work? I mean,
before the game,
let me ask you this: if we make a prediction here, are you going to allow us to go and correct our prediction tomorrow? You didn't allow that last time.
No. You can go and do it. He's not even. He's playing. and they are in trouble. They are lost like 33 for 6 or something. So yeah, they're chasing
all I know is, hey.
and Vamsi got out in the first ball.
Oh, Vamsi got oh my goodness. That's when you know things are really going wrong, because he has been playing fabulous. I don't know, Parthiv, if you realize this. Last week, his Phoenix Reds team went and played against, I think it was Icebreakers, which is pretty much Raptors, and a number of Glads players who are also playing there, including Ronak and Arjun, and Maulik was playing there. I mean, it was the number one team, and our friend KK had a phenomenal game. By the way, Parthiv, I can't see your face. Yeah, he had a phenomenal game. I mean, he took Sandy to the cleaners. He just hit him all around the park, and he said, "You want to bowl left arm spin to me? Let me show you. I'm the king of left arm spin." Unlike our friend Mansab, who says that he loves left arm spin, the guy who really loves left arm spin is KK.
Yeah, I saw his mic drop, his bad drop. That was pretty cool. All right, Satya, you might have got this wrong. FCC Agni already played Raptors, right? This week?
Yeah, he did. I told you. What did I tell you? He doesn't know the difference between Monday and Saturday.
I missed the slide. Okay.
Okay. All right.
MI Rangers Canton 11. KK predicted, so I'll keep him. But Parthiv.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Canton 11. I think Canton 11 is going to be very eager for that playoff spot. So
I'm going with Canton 11 too. So I'm drilling on Ramsey and Javed. Viju?
Yeah.
What did I pick? I think I picked Rangers.
Rangers.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with Rangers.
Okay.
I mean, Abhilash, what is that? Abhilash Reddy. He is, I mean, he gets going. Oftentimes he gets going. So, I mean, he can make or break a game. I mean, last game, I don't know which Rangers team shows up, but the Rangers team which shows up in 11 overs and scores 93 runs, if that team shows up, you have a chance to win.
Okay, trust me, Canton 11 has good batting.
Well, let me, they have Shakil, who's a very good batsman, and then they had Adarsh, who's a very good batsman. But if you're depending upon Najid is...
No,
if he gets going...
Najid, they had a good hitters, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have Mittu Bhai. I mean, he's another very good hitter. But again, with the problem I have with Najid and Mittu Bhai is, if they are in the zone and they are getting going, I mean, God help you. But if you can get them cheap, then they're back in the pavilion in no time.
Yeah, it's going to depend. Yeah, go ahead, sorry. Forgot the issue there.
I think
he's there. Yeah, he is.
Gaba, who are you picking, my friend?
It's a Canton 11 for me.
Okay.
There you go. So you're already not.
Your friend picked against you.
Yeah, that's you're already not on the same page with your advisor.
Yeah.
Okay. Agni versus Spartans. So
Agni versus Spartans. I think going with Spartans with last week's performance. I think they'll probably repeat.
So I'm going with Spartans too. They are playing all over, everywhere. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I also picked Spartans.
Yeah.
I mean, Spartans has a few good players actually. That Satish Chodapalli, I saw him play last week against FCC. He's another good batsman there.
Yeah. This week, Phoenix Reds plays Spartans.
Okay.
Semis. So yeah. Okay. Satish?
Yeah, Spartan for me too. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sterling Strikers versus Motor City.
Yeah, it's going to be Sterling Strikers all the way. Hopefully they don't take it easy, because I know they tend to do that.
Yeah.
Trust me, Parthiv, I don't think anybody can take it as easily as that Badshahs, Badshahs are the kings of taking it easy.
Satish?
Easy game for Sterling striker. They'll get it.
Detroit Badshah versus Knights. Just now
This is going to
to.
this actually is going to be the showcase game of the week. I'm telling you, when two teams of relatively equal talent and equal play, I think that becomes an interesting game. Doesn't have to be top two teams, but this is going to be a really interesting game for me. I think I picked who have I picked? I can't remember. I picked Badshah. Yeah, I picked Badshah. Yes.
I go with Badshah too. And Viju, you are so against Detroit Badshahs.
I know I'm so against Badshahs, but I'm still picking Badshahs, I mean, it's like, I don't know. Ali Shan didn't play last game.
Okay.
They played with 10 players. Hopefully they can, at least get a good team out there. But, it's a good thing that I don't have hair on my head. Because if I had hair on my head, if I was supporting Detroit Badshahs, I would have pulled all the hair out of my head. And I would have been in the same state that I am in right now.
Satish?
Badshah or me too.
Okay. Rising Stars is a Stars.
Ooh.
Which Stars?
Yeah, the Stars definitely for me. Should be an easy game for them.
Yeah, I'm going with Stars too.
Although I wish somehow the Rising Stars win, but I don't know.
How you are expecting?
I mean, you never know.
Satya, I'm taking the simple Stars, the Stars
Okay.
with who are neither rising or sinking to play their game and beat the Rising Stars.
Satish?
Yeah, Stars for me too.
Okay.
One side game probably, 5 points.
Yeah. Hitman Stingers.
Another game which I think would be interesting. I'm going with my fellow Jagan, supporting him in this game. I think he's got the edge, definitely. So Stingers for me.
So I'm going with Stingers too. I had Hitman, but after seeing their extras, then I want to move to Stingers. So.
Yeah, as much as I like my friend Philip Thomas, I think I'll have to err on the side of prudence and take Stingers.
Satish?
Yeah, Stingers for me too. I think Hitman did not impress this year at all. I think they're not in the flow.
Even though they won last week.
Yeah, but it's too late that win probably.
Guardians Strikers.
Yeah, this should be at least a game I can safely say we can win.
Okay. So
You feel that way, Parthu? I think this is going to be a closer game than you might think.
Yeah, that's
I don't think this is going to be a very straightforward win. That's just my opinion. I feel that the Guardians are not firing on all cylinders. They seem to have certain talented players, but I still am picking Strikers because overall they have been more consistent, and I like consistent teams. But I don't know. I mean, Guardians would give me a little bit of a sleeplessness if I were in Partha.
I agree. I think it's basically a game for us to lose. So if we just play our normal way, we should be through. But if we falter and we do something extraordinary to make it difficult for us, that's the only way I see us losing.
So Gava?
Yeah, striker for me too. I think Partha, you should be a little bit more confident about this game. If you are not confident, you have a little bit difficult game to start.
Partha will always start like that. So
so my opinion is that you will win this game with a 5 point so that you can make that Stars game a little bit more competitive. If you're losing this game, your team will be little low on confidence. So I think it should be easy for you. I think you get 5 points. Otherwise, it will be upset of the week.
Yeah, I agree. If you don't.
But Gaba, who knows? Partha might be also thinking if I lose this game, I might end up at number 16 and I might get Glads once again and I will do the upset once more. We don't know what is going through his mind.
So So, Parthi, you have one more supporter then. Viju might be the
Detroit Bulls is Patriots.
All right, our game of the showcase game of the week. This is going to be crucial, as we have talked about it yet. The 5 points assures a playoff spot, but I think I'm going to go with Patriots, knowing all the different news that is coming along with Bulls team.
And this is where I made the mistake, Parthiv. I should have kept my mouth shut when I got the news that MBB has relocated to Wisconsin and Geno James has gone to India. You know what? I keep sharing all this information, but you guys get to see all the games out there. I don't get the reverse information. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I had Bulls winning before, but after hearing that piece of news that 2 critical players are gone, yeah, I'm on Patriots side now.
Baba?
Yeah, I also support Patriots in this game. It was like when Satya called me today that I'm coming on this show. This is the game probably, I was also very not certain about which to go. And then I started looking for the stats. I think Detroit Bulls at this point is more focused on one person, right? 1 or 2 person revolving around. But Patriots still has no team to win the game. So I'll go with Patriots for this game.
Yeah.
Miles versus Panthers. Everybody goes to Miles.
Yeah.
So
Easy prediction.
They will go to Miles. So. Gaba? Miles,
yeah.
right?
Miles for
Dhairya Thunderbolts. Interesting game.
Very interesting game. I think with Dhairya winning the last game, it has made it very interesting. And I know Thunderbolts has probably 1 win. So, but I'm going to go with Thunderbolts simply because of the experience they've had in DCL.
Yeah, I go with Thunderbolts too. They have to win this game for next season at least. So,
yeah, me too, Thunderbolts.
Well,
yeah, Thunderbolt for me too. I think they have a lot of disciplined bowlers. Last week we played game against them, we were surprised. They are very disciplined bowling.
I think they are playing too many games and like kind of losing their.
Probably, yeah, because they were like 7 extras only in our game and they were bowling really nice, I would say.
Yeah.
They had let us work hard to score those 100 odd runs.
Yeah. Troy Ox, Procrease.
Yeah, I'm going with Procrease. I was surprised that all of you guys are going with Troy Hawks. So definitely, this gives me.
It's just me going with Troy Ox.
Oh, just you. Okay. Maybe I saw it differently. Anyways, yes.
KK might support Troy Ox, but we don't know. But yes. Viju? Ravi
Yeah, I'm going
Chapadi.
with Ravi Narala or Kaushik Chapadi. I would say that what
After seeing Kaushik Chapadi batting, you're still going with Ravi Narala?
Yes, I'm still going with Ravi Narala because I have seen Saran Raj batting. I don't care about Ravi Narala's batting. I've seen Saran Raj batting. At this point, Saran Raj I think is a great batsman. So
yeah.
I will go with Saran and company.
Okay. Gava?
I will go with Troy Hawks in this case. I think Troy Hawks has more match winner at this point.
They're so close to you, I think that's why. Near Troy.
Because I played against Troy Hawks, I think they have a better team at this point at least. The way Pradeep and Chopidi is performing around the tournament as well, other than the DCL, is remarkable. I was following these people, and other than that, they have Natarajan and Sachi and other balanced team. Troy Hawks is a quite balanced team, and they are in a winning momentum too.
So, Gaba, you're going with Troy Hawks, is it?
Yes, yeah, I'm going with the Troy Hawks.
Okay.
But I'm sure you would want Procrease to win, right? Because I
don't think it might matter to us for whoever wins, because we lost against and they probably both will be on top of point table. So
Dark Horses Legends must win. So
yes, absolute must win.
Yeah,
and should win.
Yeah. So at least Satish, if he can take the captaincy and continue, it's fine still. Like, so just so yeah, that was the last game. Legends for Satish. Okay. So we are end of the predictions. So how you want to do the thing?
Yeah, can you bring up that?
I think you should bring up that whatever KK sent us, because we're going based on that, and that gives us a.
I have
And then-
everybody's here. So
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah. So Gaba, we're going to let you give your take on how you arrived at these 16 teams, because you see on the right side is KK's predictions, and he's gone. That is Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, and it also tells who are the remaining games. So when he puts something in green, what KK is saying is that Raptors have a game against Sterling Strikers and Knights, and Raptors are expected to win both those games. So you can see that their points are 39, but when you go to the middle column, you will find that he has Raptors at number 4, because he says that out of 11 games, they win 10 games, but they'll end up with 48 points. But that 48 points is based on an assumption that Sterling Strikers will lose to Raptors, but Sterling Strikers get the bonus. So I'm sure all of us have opinions, but this set of stats is based upon after taking into account last week's game. So obviously, as we get closer to the end of the season, all of us become more accurate in our predictions. But right now, there is a bunch of assumptions which is taking place, and that kind of explains what it is. But right now, last week, KK had Titans at number 16. At that time itself, I and Parthiv said that there is no way Titans are going to be at 16. But you can see that this week in the middle, when you look at that middle column or the middle Excel sheet, he has Hawks at number 16. Now, Hawks were pretty much dead until they got some help from this week from some unexpected losses. So that makes it. And so according to our friend KK, Wolves and Spartans miss out. Now, remember, last week he had Spartans making the playoffs. And in fact, he had Spartans making the playoffs and ranking ahead of Wolves. But this week he has... yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, how is Hawks 16 and the Bulls were 29 out?
That is because only 5 teams make it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Only 5 teams make it, so the 6th team is automatically out unless you are the highest point.
They are a different
total.
pool. Yeah. Okay.
So, Gaba, maybe you can go. You can lead us through as to how you arrived at the expected points, because what we are seeing on the extreme left-hand side is Gaba's predictions.
Yes, so I did the similar exercise in the Excel sheet, game by game, who will win. And I just try to do it like prediction for the bonus and without bonus too. And I think that I just try to add the 17 team, which I could not. Detroit Bulls and Legend both are 28. So the run rate will be a factor there for me. I mean, whatever the way I have predicted. So I should have sent the 17th team as well. 17th is Legend in my list. And they both are ending up with 28 points based on my understanding. So, is it Satya? Is it possible if I share this Excel that what I have, which you can publish, you can show here?
yeah. Just share it to me. So.
Yeah, can you text me your email ID, please?
Yeah.
While you are doing that, Gaba, I wanted to ask you something. I mean, you might have already heard this. Kishore from Strikers came up with this idea of doing a draft, a DCL draft. So last week, Parthiv mentioned it. This week, we gave credit to Kishore for his original idea. And then, of course, today I had some suggestions on how we should do the draft and taking it to the next level, because original ideas, sometimes when it comes to me, I take that original idea and run with it. And I like the original idea which came. So the idea is to do a DCL draft. And with the DCL draft, you're given $100 million to start with, and you have to pick 12 players. So Parthiv is going to pick his 12 players. I'm going to pick my 12 players, and Vamsi is going to pick his 12 players. But today I suggested that each of us should have two sets of advisors who will advise, hey, go for it, increase the bid or whatever it is, or don't do the bid. So one of the guys I wanted on my team was you, Gaba, and I was wondering if you are available. This is on the Labor Day weekend. The other guy I wanted, Satya is going to find out, is Chetan Dushyant.
Sure, Viju, happy to help. I'll be available for you.
Okay,
And
great.
That
So
very interesting though. Even
what is that?
When I followed, it looked very
Yeah.
interesting. Find out something
Yeah.
similar, bidding and
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, we'll all be bidding, and we'll see, how much we are willing to pay. I mean, if we had $100 million, how do we go about paying that? And who do we bid on? And obviously, deciding which of these three teams wins is based upon performance in the pre-quarterfinals. So we're going to take whatever points DCL says that these players managed. What is world is that gibberish?
No.
But
Oh, it's not opening up in Excel?
Yeah, I don't have an Excel. So
Anyways, while
Okay.
they are opening, I think one comment.
Gaba, you can
obviously,
share by yourself. I can give you the access.
Gaba, you yourself should be able to share it, because if he
Yeah.
says that he's given you access, then you'll be able to share it from your desktop.
Okay,
I'm assuming you're on the laptop, right?
I'm from my iPad, so I'm not sure either I'll be able to open Excel. But
Oh.
let me screenshot and send it to you.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's
By the way, Gaba, Vijay Shanmugam just texted me. He had a question specifically for you. looks like the feud is not over, all right? So when he heard that you're coming on the show, he has a specific question for you. So here it goes. Let me read that question. Gaba, all right, Gaba, I'm reading it word for word, all right? Gaba took my team. Gaba took my team, and he is not even playing them. How do you respond to that?
Oh my God, who is not
Not
playing?
playing with home, I did not get that. Can you come again?
Yeah,
No.
who
Okay, the
specifically?
thing is, Gaba took my team, and he is not even playing them.
So I have to add Vijay in my WhatsApp group probably, so that he can see availability.
That would be nice.
All right, Vijay, here is the answer. The answer is the players were not available. So since they were not available.
But I don't know. Maybe Vijay probably follows the scorecard properly. But I think most of the time I've seen Anil and Saurabh and Amrit, all of them play most of the games. I haven't seen them like.
Because we might be
totally
talking about the last game. They Amrit and Anil both were out to Florida for watching this India versus West Indies game, so they were not available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Vijay got the answer. I don't have to text it. Thank you, because he's online and he's texting me, and I'm passing on the question to you. This makes it all the more fun.
Sure.
so.
Yeah, can you just increase that? Yeah.
Well, all I know is Vijay is laughing at your answer, so that's a good thing.
Okay, so what I try to do here in my Excel, the right side H and I column that you see on the right two, those are the pending games, and I highlighted some of that winning is the last column, and I highlighted orange is something which is with the bonus point, and something which is not highlighted is just a 4-point game based on what I understand. Okay. And yellows that I highlighted, I was still not certain about, because I was not following Patriot a lot. So I was not very confident that I have to go deep into the Patriot team and other team balance and then try to find out. Those also are the 4 pointers for Patriots. So if you see this right, from Group A, all those pending games are MI Rangers versus Canton. So I gave it to Canton, and then Spartans, then Sterling Strikers, then Indus, and all those other than Canton. I gave it 4 points. and the rest, all those 3 games are 5 points for the winning team. And FCC versus Knight, I gave it to FCC. And Raptor versus SS against Sterling Striker, I gave it to Raptor with the 5 points. MI Ranger versus Motor City, I gave it to MI Ranger with the 5 points. And Sterling Striker versus Canton 11, I gave it to Sterling Striker with the 5 points. And Indus versus Hawks, Indus with the 5 points. And Raptor versus Knights again, Raptor 5 points. So based on that, what I did, the first 2 column number of game and point is just what is standing today. Expected point is that I try to sum up with this. So Raptors came into 49 and Indus also came into 49 because Raptors beat Indus in the league game. They will be, taking a step position ahead. That is how the DCL works. First they check the point and then they check head to head based on my understanding. So Indus will be second, even though they will be having the same point. And then the next.
No, Raptors would be second, you mean, because Raptors beat Indus. But
No,
what I don't understand, Raptor beat Indus.
Would be the first, right? Because head to head, if the point is same, head to head will count, and then Raptor has beaten Indus.
Yes, so Raptors will be second, and you're saying Indus will be third. What I did not understand is how do you have GLCC at 4 and Indus at 3 when both of them have the same number of points?
Okay, my bad. I think that. Yeah, so this Indus and GLCC again the run rate. I did not try to calculate the run rate at this point, if you ask me, right? Because some of the games.
but Gaba, if you look at it, the run rate difference between Indus and GLCC is like the difference between United States and England.
Okay.
That kind of a difference there is. GLCC has a huge advantage. Only Raptors and GLCC is very close, so even one game can make a difference. But GLCC and Indus, huge difference. If they both end up at the same number of points, 100% GLCC ends up at 3. This is why last week itself I told KK that I expect Raptors to be at 2 and GLCC to be at 3 and Indus to be at 4. That was my prediction last week.
Yeah, which I do agree. I think you corrected me, right? I did not consider the run rate, so I just tried to sort it out with the point.
Okay.
So I just checked it. GLCC would take that place, and Indus should.
So one of the ones which I want to ask about, at the very bottom, Legends MCC Miles. You've given that game to Legends. Do you think even after their last week's performance that you would still give it to MCC Legends?
Yeah. Basically, if I would say, right, Legend has to, even being the competition, they have to beat either Titan or MCC Miles at that first place, right? So either one of those games they have to win. I was just trying to consider from a team which thoughtful, right? The Satish might be thinking about at least winning both of those games, and both those games should
Yeah.
So I have to list down at least one, because we are just predicting, right? So 50% probability is what. So based on that, you can count either of those games, because if you see, right, even in the game, the Titan versus Legends, I did not give myself a 5-point. Means I'm expecting a close game over there.
Yeah, I think for most, even I think if you look at KK's prediction, I think he's given that to MCC Miles, and I think I'm also on the MCC Miles side that I give that to MCC Miles, which basically propels them to I think the 5th or the 6th spot, and gets them to that 41 or 40 points. So I think that is one difference. You probably what I have on my side of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I do agree, because MCC my Legends are on again a similar scale. Only thing, because the Legend is not performing because of certain reason. I mean based on I also have one reason for the Legend, and MCC Miles has played the last game actually. If you see, right, they have still have a good coming up, and still there are chance where they have to prove, And still I believe MCC Miles, somewhere they will lag. They will lag with their bowling. Still, if you see, right, they do not have the way everybody is projecting. If they win all these games, they will be probably top 7, top 8, right? So that kind of the team should have a very, very, very good bowling attack, because DCL is all lot of about the bowling. So still I see, and Legend is not able to pick because I think they have a lot of games. Means if you, I'm not sure Parthiv, you follow or not, they are playing everywhere.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They are playing everywhere and they are playing with a lot of new combinations. So I think, I don't know, because Novi Cup, they have all 8-9 people outside Legends core group, and only 2-3 people were playing from the Legend. So they did not get any exposure there, right? And same way they are playing Corporate Cup, they are playing hardball, and they are playing 2 teams they are managing. There are a lot of things are going. If they will put mind only toward the Legends team, they probably will win. They need to just pick the right people, right movement, and they should go with the right mindset probably. Let's go. At this point, what I see, Legend is not focusing much about the DCL. That's what I feel.
And I think that has impacted a few teams. So Legends is one. I think Safaris is another one. They play a lot of these tournaments as well.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, because if you talk to Legends and if you talk to Safaris, they are hell bent upon making the playoffs, because from what I understood from KK last week, when he did not pick Safaris in the playoffs to make the playoffs, the Safaris team, at least 1 or 2 of their players were pretty upset that KK did not have them in their in his playoff list.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, they might be annoyed with that, but that does not take away the fact that because they're playing so many tournaments, firstly they're burning out players, and secondly, I don't think that combination sometimes gets disrupted, because you're trying different things in different tournaments, and then you're unsure what to do in each game when you have the same players available.
All I know is the Legends are playing Titans, Safaris, and Miles, and that is not easy 3 games. Out of that 3 games, they need to win 2 games. If they lose 2 out of the 3 games, they can forget the DCL 2022 season. Simple as that.
Viju, just want to correct you. Even in my prediction, I gave 2 games out of those 3, right? Even though they are not able to, either they will make it just 28-29 point, and let's see how the miracle happens with the Detroit Bulls. I gave 2 games out of those 3 games to Legends, but without bonus points.
No. You gave both of them, but what I'm saying is they have to win 2 out of those 3 games. If they lose 2 out of those 3 games, then they can forget the 2022 season. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And
but if they had won last week against Dynamites, all right?
Yeah.
If they had won last week against Dynamites, they wouldn't be in such a difficult situation.
Exactly. Last week, when you were mentioning about 7 teams will be popping up from the pool C, which will be having more points. I do agree with you till the last week. But the last week, when Safaris losing area and
that changed everything, because nobody expected Safaris to lose to Diarrhea, and all 4 of us had Legends beating Dynamites. The moment Dynamites beat Legends now, and Diarrhea beat Safaris, now the question of the 7th or 6th and 7th team coming out of Pool C, I think has all been thrown out. I will be surprised if the 6th team comes from some other pool now, you see.
Yeah, Pool B is, I think Pool B is competitive now.
Yeah, I think the 16th team as of today would come from probably Pool A, right?
Pool B probably.
Pool A, I would think Pool B is what I would think, because it was always going to be either Pool B or Pool C, which will bring the 6th team. But because of last week's upsets, which happened, we were expecting that Safaris will win, and we were expecting that Legends will win, and both those teams upset our predictions.
Yeah, so that 2 game has changed all the.
The permutations and combinations are gone.
Yeah. So I am expecting now either Legend will come up as a 16th team or Detroit Bulls. If you see, right, in that they might end up with the same point, and the run rate will be decided.
I'm sure Viju won't like Legends coming at 16. You'd rather want Bulls.
I mean, yeah, at this point, if you ask me honestly, yes, any day I would prefer Bulls at number 16 rather than Legends at number 16, because Legends, when they have their full team, that's a tough out.
Interesting. Wow.
But I have a feeling that according to Gaba, who is this? The 16th team might be Knights, right, Gaba?
According to KK.
According to KK? Okay. According to somebody, somewhere I saw that Knights
No,
might
it was
be
Hawks,
16.
right? Hawks.
No, Hawks. I'm sorry, Hawks. Yeah.
Yeah. Satya,
Because,
can you move that over? That sheet? Can you move it side by side?
I mean,
Oh,
he
okay,
had.
yeah.
I mean, he has Hawks at number 16, and the reason is Hawks have 2 more games. Satya, can you show the 2 games which Hawks have remaining?
Canton 11 and
Yeah, I think that Canton 11 game is going to be very crucial as to who comes.
again for
Thunders.
only one reason I did not give it to Hawks, because again Hawks is revolving around 1 or 2 people, right? And whenever the crucial game comes in, right, everybody has to pitch in. I think Canton 11 has more match winner at this point than Hawks. That I just try to put this logic around, whenever I'm picking that too in a crucial game. One person cannot win a crucial game. You need to have a team to win those games.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Hawks are very dependent on Vikram Reddy Golamari, but he has performed very well this season. But having said that, yeah, I understand your logic, because all it takes is one ball, and if you're dependent on one player, that one ball kept low or whatever it is and got that player out, then all of a sudden you're on the back foot.
Yeah, and then Vikram is performing very good on the bowling aspect. Batting is still, I think, some or other way, the whole team is struggling when they are not able to put, 100 on the board, or even the average team, where they have to, work on the batting. If they work on the batting, probably they might win this game. But at this point, Canton 11 has more weapons.
Well, all I know is that Parthiv Glad still have to play Dynamites, and the Dynamites skipper just told me that if Gaba and company make the playoffs, that he will be waiting to see them in the playoffs.
Ooh.
which means Dynamites are going to make the playoffs, and for Dynamites to make the playoffs, they have to beat MCC Miles and they have to beat Blacks. Now, first they play MCC Miles, so we'll know the outcome right then and there, because that's the thing. I mean, if they beat MCC Miles, then they run into Glads, and we'll see if they can beat both those teams.
I am waiting.
Yeah, and if Dynamite beats MCC Miles will also be in a trouble. They might, the way talking about.
No, but they are locked into the playoffs. That much is sure, Rabba.
Yeah, but
MCC Miles is locked.
What I understand from Sanjay, when last time Sanjay showed up for this game, they are looking for second or third spot so that the playoff should be easier, right? So think on that.
Yes.
Not
no, but his logic is very sound, right? I mean, if you are 1, 2, or 3, you will get an easier round opponent in the first round. I mean, why not make your life a little easier?
And moreover, see, at this point, with you, and I think all these captains are only sitting here. These all games, even though the league is stage, this makes, the mentally team is strong. If you're losing against the weaker side, you're not going very mentally strong with the playoff, right? You have to, in the last couple of games, you have to beat so that you will move it to the playoff with a more better approach and more confidence, So every team will try to put their best to win this game, even though they think that probably they are playing with a little bit weaker side, like MCC and Dynamite. At this point, MCC Mile looks little stronger. I everybody will agree. But MCC Mile will not take any chances against the Dynamite, so that they will be in a trouble. They want to get 5 points out of that game, and they will try for that very hard.
I absolutely agree. It's not going to be a cakewalk, especially the way Dynamites have been playing the last 2 games. I was umpiring one of them. They definitely look a much better unit from what they started this season. So, yes, I don't think MCC Miles is going to get a platter presented to them.
Good.
Okay,
So
I
that's
think we are running
Running
on time, so I want to make
more
sure.
than
Any last thoughts on the playoffs? Any last predictions? Gaba, Satish, you want to add before we call it a night?
Yeah, that is pretty much. We just saw, as I mentioned, like this year. I think little bit more interesting, maybe because I'm on that side where things are not shaping up properly. But yeah, I think this year very competitive cricket that we are playing. So I'm quite happy with it.
Awesome. And do you see KRC?
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you see KRCC as a front runner in lifting the cup this year? Do you see them doing that, or do you still think it's going to be, falling short?
They are pretty strong team, if you ask me, right? I think Viju also mentioned in one of the call, they have one of the best bowling attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if KRCC has to think anything, they have to think over their batting side, because DCL is they are more dependent on people who are not regular to softball cricket. So their only concern, if KRCC has to think something, is the batting. Bowling is they are pretty solid.
Cool. All right, Viju, you had a question.
I mean, I wanted to ask Gaba, which are the teams which surprised you this year with their performances?
This year, maybe FCC, I would say, because FCC from last 2-3 years, I think they were not, up to the mark. Also, I think FCC, the way FCC has played this year, I think everybody has talked about all other teams. I know you praise Safari, Thunderbolts, Phantom, but FCC.
No. If you listen to what I said last week, I said that I felt that FCC was probably the most improved team. They made a case. In fact, I said that this probably is the best FCC team ever. I said that last week, but
so I might have missed that.
I said that last week. But at the beginning of the season, if you had asked me, I didn't even think this FCC team would have made the playoffs. You see, but I changed my opinion after I saw them play.
Yeah, even I did not thought about FCC is making to the playoff and making to the playoff with a big margin, right? If you see, they might be top 10 team for sure.
Oh, they will be a top 10 team because they have only one game remaining, and that one they are expected to get full 5 points. So they're probably going to be 6, 7, or 8 or something like that.
Yeah, so that is a huge jump for FCC. So FCC has impressed. FCC is more improved team at this year, I would say.
Yep. For me, I think, definitely, I think FCC is a strong contender. But for me, I think MCC Miles. I think I've been very, very impressed with MCC Miles.
Miles always had a talent. They didn't click. This year they clicked.
Exactly. Yep. They always had like this big. Yeah.
And the same thing with Troy Hawks. Troy Hawks too. What is that again?
What I'm saying, MCC might have 4 games to go. They have almost 40% season is still left over. FCC Mile has already played 10 games. So FCC has already played 10 games. So I think they have more proven record at this point. 4 games, MCC Miles is not cakewalk for them. They also have to work hard to get what FCC is at this point. Parthibai just a counter point for your respect for MCC Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Troy Hawks has also impressed, you see. So for sure they have done
they were
better than I had.
Playoff last year too, so they were performing good last 2-3 years. So
yes,
I think yes. So I think consistently moving up, I think is Troy Hawks. I think they had a great season last season, and this season, I think they are almost like an outside chance to get into the finals.
So in Gaba, the flip side of the question then would be, okay, which team has disappointed you, or which teams have disappointed you?
Surprising answer. Maybe Stars has disappointed me at this point. I was when I saw the team and the way team has been formed and the quality of the player they had, they should have done even better than what they are. They might qualify for the play. I'm not counting on the team that is not qualifying. Stars had that unit. They should have done much better than what they are at this point.
Well, they are making the playoffs, that's for sure. But you are saying that you expected them in the top 5 or something like that.
So just a relatively example I would give you. If Glad would have been playing the similar to the Stars at this point, like we are losing 4 or 5 games with a full unit, I would have said Glad. It's not about, for me, it's not about just making to the playoff. You would have also mentioned the same if Glad would have been on the same place, right? Not making to the play, how impactful you are making to the playoff and what kind of unit you have, right? And how you are performing throughout the season. So Stars for me at this point.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's pretty obvious. I think Legends have really disappointed. I don't know. Like, I think it's
Legends.
It's. I think there are a couple of reasons I can think about. Is this 2-partition club formation? I think it's going to take time to figure out the right combination of who is in the A team, who's in the B team, kind of thing. That might be one of the reasons. Who knows? I'm just guessing. And I think Harish not being available a lot of the games. I think that is also maybe one of the reasons.
On the same point, Bharti, if there are more concentration only on the Harish, F40 playoff will also start soon. So he has to prioritize where to go. So their trouble will be more from now, from here onward.
Yeah. It's going to just amplify. Cool. All right. Cool. I think we can call it a night. It was great discussion, and we'll continue the discussion. And I'm pretty sure, Satish, we'll be having you on the show multiple times as we go into the playoffs. But it was great chatting with everyone. We'll have more of these analysis and talking about playoff predictions next week as well. So until then, good night, and see you next week.
See you
Thank you.
Guys.
Good night. Good night. Bye.
Bye.